The great screens of the Highborn Council chamber flickered with images of a blue-green planet, the third one from an ordinary yellow star. The 5 council members floated in their anti-gravity pods, their silver robes catching the light from the displays. They had seen thousands of such worlds before, but something about this one made them pause. "Another primitive species," said First Elder Ray, his voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years of scientific advancement. "Look at their atmosphere, polluted with carbon emissions. Their oceans are filling with plastic waste. They still fight wars over limited resources." Second Elder Mark gestured with one of his 4 hands, bringing up new data streams. "Their technology is particularly crude. They've barely reached their own moon, and their attempts at space travel rely on chemical rockets." He made a sound that might have been a laugh. "They still use combustion engines for ground transport." The other council members nodded in agreement, except for 4th Elder Ben. He leaned forward in his pod, his eyes fixed on a particular data point, but noticed their rate of advancement. From first flight to space travel in less than 70 years. From basic computers to global networks in less than 50. Typical of young species, 3rd Elder Max dismissed with a wave. "They all go through a period of rapid growth before their resources run out. Look at their population growth. Unsustainable. Their energy usage, wasteful. Their political systems, chaotic." The youngest of them, 5th Elder Ann, pulled up more images. "Their cities are inefficient. Their transport systems waste enormous amounts of energy. And their military spending." She paused, highlighting a series of numbers. "They spend more on weapons than on space exploration. Classic sign of a species that will destroy itself before reaching the stars." First Elder Ray nodded slowly. "Classification. Grade C," Second Elder Mark said immediately. "Barely worth observing." "Agreed," Third Elder Max added. "Though perhaps we should send an observer, just to document their collapse. It could be useful data for our archives." 4th Elder Ben frowned. "Isn't that a waste of resources? We have automated systems that could monitor them." "No," First Elder Ray decided. "This could be a good training opportunity. We have a junior researcher who needs field experience. Observer Tom has just completed his basic training." The council members exchanged looks. Observer Tom was known for being overly curious, always asking unnecessary questions. A simple observation mission to a dying world would be perfect for him. Nothing could possibly go wrong. "Very well," First Elder Ray announced. "We'll send Observer Tom to monitor Earth. Standard protocol. No contact, no interference, just observation and data collection." He looked at the images of Earth one last time. "Though I doubt there will be anything worth reporting. These humans seem particularly primitive, even for a Grade C species." In his quarters, Observer Tom received his assignment with excitement. His first solo mission. He immediately began reviewing the preliminary data on Earth, his 6-fingered hands flying over the holographic controls. The more he read, the more questions he had. Why did humans build such strong bodies when they had machines? Why did they practice fighting even in times of peace? Why did they seem to enjoy chasing things? Why did so many of their sports involve pursuit and capture? Why did they train their young to compete rather than just cooperate? But Tom knew better than to ask these questions to the council. They had made their decision. Earth was just another primitive world destined to destroy itself. His job was simply to watch and record its decline. He had no way of knowing that he was about to discover something that would shake the foundation of galactic civilization. The Council had made a fundamental mistake in their classification of Earth. They had forgotten one simple truth. Earth was not a planet of the weak. It was a world that bred predators. Observer Tom sat in his cloaked observation pod, hovering over a vast grassland in what humans called Africa. He had been watching Earth for 3 months now, and something wasn't adding up. The Council's assessment of humans as just another primitive species seemed increasingly wrong. He watched as a group of humans pursued an animal across the hot plains. They carried no energy weapons, no hover devices, Not even basic anti-gravity units. Just simple spears and water containers. The animal was faster than them, yet they kept following it. Fascinating, Tom muttered, recording everything. Hour after hour, the humans followed the animal's tracks. They didn't give up when it ran. They didn't stop when the sun was highest. They just kept going, walking steadily, following signs Tom could barely see. The animal, something called an antelope, eventually collapsed from exhaustion. The humans caught up to it, and Tom expected them to feel sad about its death like most civilized species would. Instead, they seemed pleased. They celebrated their successful hunt. Tom sent his daily report to the council. Humans show unusual persistence in pursuit. Evidence suggests they evolved as pursuit predators, not peaceful gatherers like most intelligent species. The council's response was quick and dismissive. Irrelevant primitive behavior. Focus on their technological development. But Tom couldn't ignore what he was seeing. He moved his pod to another location, this time over something humans called a school. He expected to see young humans being taught to avoid conflict, like all civilized species did. Instead, he saw them playing games called tag and hide and seek, games that mimicked hunting behavior. In another location, humans were doing something called sports. Tom watched in fascination as they chased each other across fields, trying to catch balls or each other. Even their entertainment was based on pursuit and capture. He sent another report. Human recreation appears to maintain hunting instincts. Young are trained in pursuit and evasion through play. Request detailed genetic analysis. The council replied, request denied. Continue basic observation only. Tom moved on to human military training. He expected to see simple defense drills. Instead, he saw humans practicing something called tactical maneuvers, complex hunting behaviors adapted for warfare. They didn't just learn to fight. They learned to track, to pursue, to trap, and to capture. Even their civilian behavior showed predatory patterns. Human scientists didn't just observe problems. They pursued solutions. Their doctors didn't just treat diseases. They hunted for cures. Their police didn't just maintain order. They tracked down lawbreakers. Tom's next report was longer. Humans show predatory behavior in all aspects of society. Their technology development follows hunting patterns. They improved their ability to detect, pursue, and capture. Even their space program shows signs of predatory thinking. They send probes to hunt for resources and information. The council's response was stern. Observer Tom, you are showing concerning obsession with primitive behaviors. Focus on documenting their environmental damage and resource depletion. But Tom couldn't stop watching. He saw humans in their cities, supposedly civilized, but still moving like predators. They rushed through their days with restless energy. They were always seeking, pursuing, hunting, for knowledge, for wealth, for achievement. In his private log, Tom wrote what he couldn't tell the council. The highborn made a mistake. We evolved from prey species that learned to think. Humans evolved from predators that learned to plan. Every human carries the instincts of a hunter, passed down through countless generations of survivors. They don't just fight to survive. They pursue. They track. They capture. They are what we never were, predators who learned to think. He looked at his latest scans of human military development. They were advancing faster than his superiors realized. Soon, humans would reach the stars. And when they did, the galaxy would learn what it meant to be hunted by Earth's predators. Observer Tom's hands shook as he prepared his latest report. 6 months had passed since his first observations of Earth, and what he saw now filled him with deep worry. Humans were advancing their space technology faster than anyone had predicted, but it wasn't the speed that concerned him. It was the way they were doing it. He watched through his pod sensors as humans launched another spacecraft. The council would see it as a simple cargo vessel, but Tom knew better. The ship's cargo sections could be quickly converted into weapon bays. Its navigation systems were designed for pursuit. Its sensors were adapted from military tracking systems. Emergency update, he typed in his report. Humans are not building a peaceful space fleet. Every ship they design can be turned into a weapon. He attached detailed scans showing the dual-purpose nature of human spacecraft. The Council's response came quickly. All primitive species arm their vessels. This is not concerning. Tom switched his observation feeds to a human space station. Inside, astronauts were practicing emergency procedures. But they weren't just learning how to survive in space. They were learning how to fight in it. Their movements showed the same predatory patterns he had seen in their ground forces. In another part of the station, humans were testing what they called space rescue systems. Tom noticed these systems could easily be used to capture other vessels. Even their safety equipment doubled as hunting tools. He sent another report. Human space technology follows predator adaptation patterns. They are not just expanding into space. They are preparing to hunt in it. The Council dismissed his concerns again. Observer Tom, you are overanalyzing basic survival preparations. Return to standard observation protocols. But Tom couldn't ignore what he was seeing. He shifted his focus to human artificial intelligence development. Their AI systems didn't just process information. They actively searched for patterns, like predators looking for prey. Their learning algorithms were based on pursuit and capture of data. A human military base caught his attention next. They were testing new space weapons, disguised as debris removal systems. The weapons didn't just destroy targets, they hunted them across orbital paths, predicting and intercepting their movement patterns. Critical warning, Tom wrote in his next report. Human AI and weapons systems show advanced hunting behaviors. Their technology is evolving faster than our models predicted. Request immediate Council review. The Council's reply was harsh. Final warning. Observer Tom. Your obsession with human behavior patterns is affecting your judgment. Maintain distance and observe only. Tom looked at his latest scans of human space development. They were building faster ships, better sensors, more advanced AI systems. But the Council only saw the technology, not the purpose behind it. They didn't understand that humans were creating the perfect tools for space predators. In his private logs, Tom wrote, "The humans are not just reaching for the stars. They are preparing to hunt among them. Every technology they develop shows signs of their predatory nature. Their ships are disguised weapons. Their AI systems are digital hunters. Their space stations are forward bases for future expansion." He watched as humans launched another satellite network. The Council would see it as primitive communication technology. Tom saw it for what it really was, the beginning of a hunting net that would one day spread across the stars. "They are coming," he whispered to himself, "and the galaxy isn't ready for them. We've never faced a species that thinks like predators, builds like predators, and expands like predators. The Council believes humans are primitive because they don't build like us. They don't see that humans are building something far more dangerous. They're building the tools to hunt in space." His sensors picked up another human launch. This time, they were testing something new. A ship that could track and intercept targets at high speed. The Council would call it a simple advance in space technology. Tom knew better. He was watching the birth of something the galaxy had never seen before. Space predators. The great silver ship of the Highborn descended through Earth's atmosphere, its shields glowing softly against the morning sun. The Council had finally decided to make official contact with humans, expecting them to be amazed by their advanced technology. Observer Tom watched from his pod, his heart beating fast with worry. The landing site was a large open area near what humans called the United Nations building. Military vehicles and troops surrounded the area, but kept their distance. The Council saw this as a sign of respect. Tom saw it as predators maintaining strike distance. First Elder Ray stepped out of the ship, his silver robes flowing in the wind. "Greetings, people of Earth," he announced through the translation system. "We are the Highborn, and we come to welcome you to the galactic community." The human leaders stepped forward. Their faces showed polite interest, but their eyes moved constantly, studying the ship, the Highborn's technology, their protective shields. Tom recognized that look. It was the same look he had seen in human hunters studying their prey. "We are honored by your visit," said the human leader. "We have many questions about your civilization." The council members smiled, expecting questions about their advanced technology or cultural achievements. The first question caught them off guard. "What's the operational range of your ship's shields?" Second Elder Mark blinked in surprise. "That's not typically discussed in first contact situations." Another human spoke up. "We noticed your ship's engine signature change during atmospheric entry. Is that a limitation of your FTL drive?" Third Elder Max shifted uncomfortably. "Perhaps we should discuss cultural exchange first." But the humans continued. They asked about weapon capabilities, shield frequencies, communication systems. Each question was polite but probing, seeking weaknesses, looking for advantages. The council members began to exchange worried looks. "Your ships use some form of gravity manipulation," said a human scientist. "What happens to those systems under electromagnetic interference?" Tom watched the council's confidence fade as they realized these weren't the questions of an awestruck primitive species. These were the questions of predators evaluating potential prey. First Elder Ray tried to redirect the conversation. "We have much to teach you about peaceful cooperation among species." A human military leader smiled. "Of course. But first, tell us about your fleet response times." "For peaceful purposes, naturally." In his observation pod, Tom sent an urgent message to the council. They are not asking these questions out of simple curiosity. They are hunting for information. The council members began to see it too. The humans weren't randomly placed around the landing site. They were positioned for optimal coverage. Their satellites had adjusted orbits to track the highborn ship. Their sensors were actively probing the alien technology. "Perhaps," First Elder Ray said carefully, "we should continue this discussion another time." "So soon?" asked the human leader, smiling in a way that showed too many teeth. "We have so many more questions about your fascinating technology." The council members retreated to their ship, their movements quick but trying to appear calm. Tom noticed the humans didn't seem disappointed. They watched the ship leave with the patient eyes of hunters who knew their prey would return. In the emergency council meeting that followed, First Elder Ray's voice shook. "They asked only about our weaknesses. Every question was about how to defeat our technology." "They were studying us," Third Elder Max said. "Not as students, but as hunters," Tom finished, finally allowed to speak. "I tried to warn you. Humans don't just build technology. They build weapons. They don't just ask questions. They gather intelligence. They aren't primitive. They're predators preparing for the hunt." The council looked at the recording of the first contact again. They had expected to find primitive beings in need of guidance. Instead, they had revealed themselves to a planet of predators. And now, those predators knew they existed. The raiders thought they had found easy prey. The human colony on Mars was still new, its defenses looked basic, and its population seemed small. The raider fleet, notorious across 3 sectors for their swift attacks, expected another simple raid. They were wrong. The first sign of trouble came when their ships entered the Mars defense zone. Instead of panicking or begging for mercy like most young colonies, the humans sent a single message. "You have 20 minutes to leave. After that, we will hunt you down." The raiders laughed. No one had ever hunted them. They were the hunters of space. Their leader, a scared veteran of 100 raids, gave the order to attack. Observer Tom watched from his pod as human ships rose from hidden bases on Mars and its moons. They didn't move like normal defensive ships. They moved like pack hunters, spreading out in attack formations he had seen in Earth's wolf packs. "Emergency alert," he sent to the council. "Humans are engaging the raiders." But their response is different. The raider ships struck first, hitting the colony's outer defenses. They expected the humans to retreat and protect their civilians. Instead, the human ships ignored the damaged defenses and pressed forward, cutting off the raiders' escape routes one by one. "Strange," the raider leader muttered. "They're not defending. They're—" His voice trailed off as he realized what was happening. The humans weren't trying to drive them away. They were trying to trap them. The human ships moved with terrible purpose. They didn't waste time with warnings or attempts to disable the raiders. They methodically destroyed engines, weapons, and communication systems. Ship after ship was left floating helpless in space. "Council," Tom reported, "the humans are not fighting to defend. They are hunting the raiders systematically." The raiders tried to retreat, but found their escape routes blocked. They split up, hoping to confuse the humans. It was a mistake. The human ships split into smaller groups, each one pursuing a target with relentless efficiency. "How are they tracking us?" the raider leader demanded as another of his ships went dark. "Their best stealth systems, their tricks for hiding in asteroid fields, their emergency jump protocols. Nothing worked. The humans followed them through every evasion attempt." Tom's sensors picked up human communications. "Target 7 trying to hide in the asteroid belt. Hunt Group 3, flush them out. Hunt Group 4, be ready on the other side." No one escapes. The council watched in horror as the humans systematically eliminated the raider fleet. But what happened next shocked them even more. The humans didn't stop at Mars. They accessed the captured raiders' navigation data and launched a full pursuit of the entire raider network. "This is Captain Jack of Earth Fleet," a message broadcast across space. "To all colonies and stations, the raiders attacked our people. We are now hunting them. Share any information about raider activity. We will find them all." Over the next weeks, Tom reported as human ships tracked down raider bases across multiple systems. They didn't just attack. They studied, learned, and adapted. Each battle made them more efficient predators. The raider leader, watching his empire fall from his last hidden base, finally understood. "We thought we were hunters," he told his remaining crew. "But we never knew what real hunters were until we met humans." The council received Tom's final report on the incident. "The galaxy has never seen this before. Other species fight wars. Humans hunt their enemies. The raiders didn't just lose a battle. They became prey. And now every species knows, if you attack humans, they won't just fight back. They will hunt you down, no matter where you hide." In the darkness of space, human ships continued their methodical pursuit of the remaining raiders. They weren't fighting for glory or revenge. They were simply doing what Earth's predators had always done, hunting their prey to extinction. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council stretched into its third day. Representatives from 50 species gathered to discuss one urgent topic: humans. The destruction of the raider fleet had forced every civilization to reevaluate their understanding of Earth. Observer Tom stood before them, displaying his years of research. "We made a fundamental mistake," he explained. "We judged humans by the same standards we use for all species. We were wrong." The screens behind him showed scenes from Earth's history. "Look at their cities," Tom said. "We thought they were inefficient, but every city is built to be defended. Every road can be used for military transport. Every spaceport can launch fighters." First Elder Ray leaned forward. "But their technology was primitive. Their ships were basic." "No," Tom replied. "Their ships were weapons we didn't recognize. While we built beautiful vessels to show our advancement, they built ships that could hunt in space. Every human vessel can fight. Every sensor can track. Every civilian ship can be converted for war." A representative from the trade world spoke up. "But they waste so many resources on military preparation. Surely that shows their primitive nature." Tom shook his head. "That's what I thought too. But look closer." He showed new images. "They don't waste resources. They maintain hunting readiness. Their sports keep them physically strong. Their games teach combat skills. Their entertainment simulates warfare. Everything they do prepares them for the hunt. The screens showed human children playing. Even their young practice hunting behaviors. What we saw as simple games, hide and seek, tag, capture the flag, are all training. They learn to track, to hide, to pursue, to capture. The council chamber fell silent as Tom continued. We classified species based on technology and cooperation. We assumed advanced civilizations would be peaceful. We never considered that predators could build the civilization while keeping their hunting instincts. Another representative spoke. But surely their constant conflicts show their barbaric nature. Those conflicts, Tom explained, were not signs of primitiveness. They were predators practicing their skills. Every war taught them new hunting techniques. Every battle improved their ability to track and kill. They weren't fighting because they were primitive. They were training to be better predators. The screens now showed human space stations and colonies. Look at their expansion into space. We thought they were clumsy colonizers. But they're not colonizing. They're establishing hunting territories. Every base is a forward operating position. Every colony is a new hunting ground. First Elder Ray's voice shook. How did we miss this? Because we evolved from prey species, Tom said quietly. We built our civilizations on running and hiding and eventually cooperating. Humans built theirs on hunting and pursuing and eventually coordinating their hunts. We see through prey eyes. They see through predator eyes. The images changed to show the recent battle with the raiders. This is what happens when you threaten a planet of predators. The raiders thought they were hunters, but they had never met true hunters before. Humans didn't just defeat them. They hunted them to extinction. The council chamber erupted in worried discussion. Species that had thought themselves powerful suddenly realized they had never faced anything like humans before. We must understand this, Tom concluded. Humans are not primitive. They are not inefficient. They are predators who learn to think, to build, to cooperate, but they never lost their hunting instincts. Every human carries the mind of a hunter. And now they've reached the stars. The council members looked at each other in silence. They had believed themselves to be the height of civilization. Now they realized that while they had been building a peaceful galaxy, Earth had been breeding something far more dangerous, an entire species of space-faring predators. First Elder Ray spoke the words they were all thinking. Everything we thought we knew about civilization, we need to rethink it all. 5 years after the Raider incident, the galaxy was a very different place. Observer Tom stood at the window of the new Earth Embassy on the highborn homeworld, watching alien ships move through space. Most of them now carried human-designed weapons, not because humans forced them to, but because everyone had learned that the galaxy wasn't as safe as they had thought. The latest report, Observer Tom, said his assistant, handing him a datapad. Tom wasn't just an observer anymore. He was now the official expert on human behavior, the one who helped other species understand Earth's predators. The report showed how things had changed. Trade routes now had human patrol ships protecting them. Planets hired human security advisors to design their defenses. Even the highborn had started training their people in what they called predator thinking. Another pirate group tried to raid a trade world's convoy. The assistant said, they didn't know humans were guarding it. The pirates didn't even have time to send a distress signal. Tom nodded. The galaxy's criminal elements were learning quickly. You didn't attack anything humans protected. Not unless you wanted to become prey. In the streets below, he watched alien children playing new games they had learned from humans. Games of chase and capture that their parents would have found shocking just a few years ago. The younger generation was learning that sometimes you needed predator skills to survive. A message flashed on his screen. Another group of aliens requesting permission to study on Earth. Everyone wanted to learn from the predator world now. They wanted to understand how humans thought, how they fought, how they hunted. The council requests your presence, his assistant said. They're discussing the new classification system. Tom walked to the council chamber, remembering how different it had been just a few years ago. The highborn no longer floated in anti-gravity pods, trying to appear superior. They sat in practical chairs, ready to move at a moment's notice. They had learned that lesson from humans. Always be ready. Observer Tom, First Elder Ray, greeted him. We finished the new species classification system. Earth is officially categorized as a predator-class civilization, the first and only one. The screen showed the new system. Species were no longer rated just by their technology or cooperation. Now they were also rated by their ability to defend themselves, to fight back, to survive. The humans have reviewed the new trade agreements, Second Elder Mark added. They've agreed to teach defensive tactics to our people, but they want something in return. Let me guess, Tom said. They want to learn about our technology. Yes, they say they'll teach us to think like predators if we teach them about advanced space travel. Tom smiled. Humans were still hunting, not just for prey now, but for knowledge. Every trade agreement, every diplomatic meeting, every cultural exchange was a chance for them to learn and improve their capabilities. A new message appeared on the screens. Another human colony was being established, deeper in space than any Earth ship had gone before. The council members watched with a mixture of worry and respect. Humans weren't just expanding. They were extending their hunting grounds. We thought we were helping a primitive species join galactic civilization, First Elder Ray said quietly. Instead, they taught us what we were missing. The galaxy needed predators. We just didn't know it until Earth showed us. Tom looked out at the stars. Human ships were out there, patrolling trade routes, exploring new systems, protecting weaker species. They had become the galaxy's hunters, the ones who kept order not through laws or technology, but through the simple fact that everyone knew. If you caused trouble, humans would hunt you down. Earth breeds predators, Tom said, repeating the phrase that had become famous across the galaxy. And the galaxy is safer because of it. The council members nodded. They had finally learned the truth. Sometimes you needed predators to protect civilization, and Earth's predators were now hunting among the stars.